The question echoes in the dark like a whisper across eternity. You don't know who asked it first. Maybe it was a priest, centuries ago, before the galaxy burned. Maybe it was one of the Emperor's first sons, staring into the blinding light of his divinity. Or maybe it was no one at all, a thought that blooms inside your mind the moment your name is called. No one explains why you were chosen. They never do. Across the Imperium, 1 billion souls kneel each dawn in worship, and only a handful are taken. The rest rot in factories and shrines, building idols to gods they will never see. But one morning, when the dust of prayer still clings to your lips, the black-robed heralds arrive. They speak not to you but of you. Their eyes never meet yours. Their words are cold, exacting, like a machine delivering a verdict. You are told that your genetic purity, your physiological structure, and your mental readings align within acceptable tolerances. You are a number now, one among a microscopic fraction of humanity deemed suitable. There are no farewells. There is no time for disbelief. You are taken, placed upon a transport bound for Terra, the cradle of mankind, the heart of the Imperium, the seat of the Emperor himself. You had imagined it as holy, radiant, perfect. You were wrong. From orbit, Terra looks wounded, a world drowned in cloud, scarred by oceans of metal and towers of bone-white stone. The atmosphere burns with the weight of faith. You feel it pressing against your chest as you descend, a constant vibration, like the heartbeat of something vast and dying. When the transport doors open, you are met with heat and silence. The air tastes of ash and incense. Pilgrims crowd every street, endless tides of the broken and the desperate, crawling toward the palace, believing they will be seen. They will not. You are ushered past them in silence, through corridors that stretch for miles, under banners older than history itself. They call this place the Outer Sanctum, but it feels more like a tomb. The walls are carved with faces, thousands of them, men and women immortalized in gold. You wonder if these were once candidates like you, chosen and consumed by the same impossible promise. Days blur into one another. You are examined, tested, drained. Machines hum and click as they measure everything that makes you you, your blood, your breath, your fear. You hear others crying in the night, voices fading one by one. You never see them again. Then comes the night before the choosing. You cannot sleep. You sit in a narrow chamber lit only by a single lumen strip, staring at your reflection in the metal wall. You no longer recognize yourself. The grime of your home world is gone. Your body feels foreign, too clean, too fragile, too human. A figure enters, tall, silent, armored in gold so bright it hurts to look at. A custodian, one of the Emperor's own. For a heartbeat, you forget to breathe. Legends never spoke of the sound they make when they move, the low, resonant hum of sanctified armor alive with power. He stops before you, helm under his arm. His face is perfect, symmetrical, ancient. There is no warmth in his eyes, only purpose. When he speaks, his voice is soft, but it carries the weight of eternity. You have been chosen to stand before the throne, he says. Few ever are. Fewer still return. You want to ask why you, but the words die before they form. He turns to leave, and something in you knows this is the last time you will ever speak as yourself. The following dawn, you are brought to the Golden Gate, the first barrier of the Imperial Palace. It stretches beyond sight, carved with 1,000 stories of conquest and devotion. Each figure is rendered in such detail that their agony feels alive. You kneel without being told. The moment your forehead touches the stone, you feel a vibration under your skin, a pulse, rhythmic and ancient. The custodian's voice echoes from above. You stand before the gate of eternity. Beyond this lies the path to unmaking. You will be stripped of all you are, and if you are found wanting, you will be erased. The Emperor demands perfection, not faith. The gate opens. Light floods the chamber, not sunlight, but something else, something older. It burns and cleanses all at once. You step forward, and the gate closes behind you with a sound like the ending of a world. The air beyond is cold and metallic. Every breath feels filtered, artificial. You see others ahead, candidates like yourself, heads shaven, eyes hollow. None speak. None look at one another. You walk through corridors lined with statues, custodians in eternal vigil, their eyes of marble staring through you. Somewhere in the distance, a choir sings in binary, machine voices harmonizing with human pain. The sound seeps into your bones. You are led into a chamber vast as a cathedral, its walls alive with machinery and light. At its center stands a dais of black marble, upon which rests a single golden sigil, the symbol of the Adeptus Custodes. A voice, mechanical and divine, fills the chamber. Identity, irrelevant. Purpose, service. Submission, required. You are told to kneel. You obey. Dozens of servitors descend from the shadows, their limbs humming with instruments. You feel the first cold touch of metal against your skin. Needles sink into your veins. You do not scream. You dare not. The voice speaks again. To guard the emperor, one must first die. Your flesh shall be remade. Your soul shall be weighed. Your loyalty shall be proven. Your vision fades. The last thing you see is the custodian who brought you here, watching from afar, silent, unblinking, as the machines begin their work. And as the darkness swallows you, that same question returns, whispered from somewhere deep within your mind. What would you sacrifice, your body, your memories, your soul, to stand in the presence of a god? Not in the poetic sense, not in the way soldiers claim when they go to war, or martyrs when they burn for faith, but in the most literal, brutal way imaginable. When your veins, your bones, your very memories are peeled apart and reforged into something unrecognizable. That is what it means to be chosen for the Adeptus Custodes. If you think the story so far has been dark, hold on, because what comes next will reveal why so few ever emerge from this path alive. And if you stay with me till the very end, you'll learn the single most terrifying truth about what the Custodes really lose, something even immortality cannot replace. You awaken to silence, not the kind born of peace, but the heavy, suffocating quiet of sterile machinery. You are lying on a slab of cold obsidian. Above you, light filters through a transparent ceiling, harsh, white, unyielding. Shadows move behind it. Voices murmur, mechanical, monotone, inhuman. The Magos biologists, masters of the flesh, whisper data to one another. To them, you are not a person. You are a specimen, a variable to be rewritten. A steel instrument touches your chest, and your body convulses. Pain explodes, not sharp, but deep, like your very essence is being rewritten. Tubes feed chemicals through your veins. Your blood changes color. You can feel it, thicker, heavier, electric. Your mind begins to fracture under the overload. Memories flash in jagged fragments, your home world, your mother's voice, the sound of rain. Each fades, dissolving into static. The machines are rewriting your DNA, inserting sequences that were never meant for mortal life. One of the Magi leans close. His face is a lattice of metal and decaying flesh. Lenses click into focus over his eyes as he studies you. Fear is natural, he says, voice rasping like rusted gears. You will lose that soon. He speaks without cruelty, without warmth. It is not comfort, it is fact. Hours, or maybe days, pass in this shifting nightmare. You are not allowed to sleep. Needles descend and retract. Machines hum and feed and carve. Your bones are lengthened. Your organs are replaced. New ones are grown inside vats of nutrient gel and inserted into your chest, beating like alien hearts. At one point, you see others. Some scream until their throats tear. Others lie still, too still. You realize they will not awaken. Their slabs will be scrubbed clean, prepared for the next candidate. Failure here does not mean punishment. It means erasure. The Magi call this phase unmaking. Every imperfection of flesh and soul must be purged. They tear away your humanity, piece by piece, until there is nothing left that can betray the Emperor's will. You stop counting the procedures. Your sense of time dissolves. At some point, your skin is no longer your own. It glows faintly beneath the light, smooth, faultless. You no longer bleed red, your blood now runs gold. And yet, beneath all this perfection, something within you screams. A voice that refuses to die, the last echo of who you were. You try to hold on to it, even as the machine priests remove your capacity for pain, your memory of fear, your ability to dream. Then comes the neural reformation, the moment your mind is broken and rebuilt. Electrodes pierce your skull, sending pulses that erase thought and memory like waves washing away footprints in sand. Every belief, every doubt, every fragment of the person you were is overridden by obedience. For the first time, you begin to understand what servitude truly means. It is not kneeling before a god, it is the annihilation of everything that might stand between you and his purpose. When the process ends, you are left in silence once more. You try to think, but the act itself feels foreign. The Magos observes you, then nods in satisfaction. Subject 1217, he murmurs. Cognitive restructuring successful. Personality suppression at 98%. 98. That means there's still 2% of you left, buried somewhere deep inside, clinging to the memory of what it once meant to be alive. They remove the tubes. Your breathing steadies. You are lifted from the slab and placed upon your feet. The world tilts, then stabilizes. The floor beneath you gleams like glass, reflecting a creature you barely recognize. Broad shoulders, golden skin, eyes like burnished metal. You take one breath, and it feels like breathing fire. The Magos turns away. The flesh has been unmade, he declares. Now begins the forging, and as you stand in the cold, surrounded by the whispering hum of sacred machinery, you realize the truth of it all. You are no longer a man. You are an echo, a vessel awaiting purpose. The gate to the next chamber opens, flooding the room with golden light. Somewhere within it, you sense the faint pulse of a divine heartbeat, steady, eternal, patient. You step toward it, toward destiny, toward oblivion. That question lingers in the hollow silence that follows your unmaking. The world feels sharper now, not because you see more, but because nothing escapes you. Every vibration of air, every distant footstep, every drop of fluid moving through a machine's vein, you hear it, you feel it. Your body has been perfected, but your mind trembles beneath its new power. They move you to another chamber, one that smells of oil, incense, and ozone. The light here is softer, filtered through golden latticework that casts shifting patterns across the floor. This is where flesh becomes faith, where what remains of you is sculpted into something divine. Dozens of others stand within the chamber, each one silent, each one remade. Their faces are blank mirrors of your own, expressionless, efficient, unbroken. For a moment, you wonder if any of them remember their name, or if you were the only one foolish enough to try. The voice of a custodian echoes through the hall, not a Magos, not a priest of steel, but a warrior in radiant armor. His tone is neither cruel nor kind, it is absolute. You are initiates, nothing more. You stand at the threshold of eternity. From this moment, every action, every thought, every breath must honor him, or it will be erased. A command follows, kneel. The floor is cold against your knees. Energy hums beneath the surface, resonating through your body. The custodian walks among you, his footsteps like thunder contained within flesh. You are not soldiers, he continues. You are not men. You are the Emperor's reflection, the weapon that guards his dream. Your will must be sharper than any blade, your loyalty purer than any flame. If you fail in this, you do not die. You are forgotten. The air thickens with reverence and dread. Then, the training begins. You are thrust into endless cycles of combat and contemplation. Hours blur into days, days into decades, though you cannot say how much time truly passes, for within these walls, time obeys no mortal rule. They teach you to move faster than thought, to see danger before it exists, to fight as though the galaxy itself is your weapon. Your every muscle obeys without hesitation, and yet, every motion feels like a prayer. Each strike is not aggression, but devotion. Each block, an act of worship. You learn in silence, always silence. Even your heartbeat is disciplined. Words are not forbidden, they are simply unnecessary. Between training sessions, you are confined to the chambers of reflection. They are vast, silent rooms lined with obsidian mirrors. Here, you are told to meditate on the meaning of service, of sacrifice, of existence itself. But when you look into those mirrors, you see something no one prepared you for: yourself. Or rather, what's left of yourself. Your reflection is flawless, perfect symmetry, divine proportion, eyes of molten gold. But behind that perfection flickers something faint and fragile, a shadow, a ghost. The memory of you. You remember flashes, laughter in the rain, the sound of a mother's lullaby, the scent of dust and wind on your home world. For a heartbeat, it feels real. Then it's gone. The conditioning takes hold again, washing away the past like a tide. You begin to realize that the trials are not just physical. They are spiritual executions. Each test kills another fragment of your old self. Each victory costs you a piece of what once made you human. One by one, the initiates around you vanish. Some fail in combat, their bodies removed without ceremony. Others simply stop responding, their eyes empty, their hearts still beating, their minds erased. When you sleep, if this trance can be called sleep, you dream of the Emperor's light. It burns behind your eyelids, blinding and infinite. You reach toward it, and for a moment, you feel peace. Then, just as quickly, the light turns cold. You realize it is not warmth you feel, but judgment. In that light, there is no mercy. And yet, you need it. You crave his approval like a starving child craves food. You fight harder, meditate deeper, obey faster, anything to be worthy of the gaze of the master of mankind. Decades pass in this silent forge. Your body no longer ages. Your reflexes are beyond comprehension. You no longer feel fatigue, only purpose. The fear of death has been replaced by something worse, the fear of imperfection. One day, you are called to stand before a custodian whose armor glows like a dying sun. His presence alone silences the chamber. You have endured, he says. You have been remade in flesh. But the true forging begins now, within the mind. He places a golden hand upon your chest, and for a moment, your vision floods with light. You see flashes of the throne, not as rumor or myth, but as an impossible truth. The Emperor's body, unmoving. His spirit, infinite. The golden light that has haunted your dreams. And for the first time, you understand. You are not training to serve him. You are training to become worthy of standing in his shadow. The light fades. You collapse to your knees, gasping, trembling. The custodian's voice softens, almost human, almost kind. You will forget this vision, he says. It was never meant for you to remember. Only to believe. And as the chamber fades into darkness once more, a single thought echoes within your hollowed mind. Faith is not found in worship. It is built in the void left when everything else is taken away. That is the question that begins the next phase, the final test of the Adeptus Custodes. After years of transformation, training, and faith, you now stand on the razor's edge between creation and destruction. Every cell in your body hums with divine precision. Every thought echoes with obedience. But the Magi and the Masters whisper among themselves, perfection must be tested, not in ritual, but in blood. They call it the trial of the blade. Not a ceremony. Not a duel. A crucible. You are escorted into a hall so vast it feels like a fragment of the Emperor's dream, endless marble stretching into golden mist. The air vibrates with suppressed energy. The silence is not emptiness, it is expectation. There are others here, the remaining candidates. Once, you trained beside them. Now, they are strangers. The same golden flesh, the same hollow gaze. Each one is perfect, as merciless, as you. A voice echoes through the hall, a custodian whose armor is inscribed with ancient litanies, his face hidden behind a mask of burnished gold. Today, you will prove your worth to the throne. The Emperor's guardians are not chosen, they are forged. And what cannot endure the forge, is purged. You do not feel fear. At least, you think you don't. Fear is something human, a concept that once had meaning, long ago. What you feel now is anticipation, sharpened to a blade's edge. The command is given. Begin. It happens in an instant, golden forms clashing, faster than thought. The world becomes a blur of movement and sound. Blades of oromite flash, striking with precision no mortal eye could follow. The air crackles with kinetic energy. Your weapon feels alive in your hand, an extension of thought and instinct. Training takes over, no hesitation, no emotion. Each parry, each strike, is a prayer. Each movement is faith made flesh. You strike down one opponent, then another. Their bodies fall in silence, golden blood gleaming like liquid fire across the marble floor. There is no triumph in their deaths, only inevitability. The forge demands sacrifice. But then, something shifts. Your next opponent moves like a mirror. Every attack you make, he counters. Every feint, he anticipates. It is like fighting your own reflection, your own ghost. You realize, with a cold sense of awe, that he is you, or rather, he carries the same pattern of gene seed, the same genetic perfection. For a heartbeat, the battle ceases to be a test. It becomes a revelation. You are not unique. You were never chosen for who you were, only for what you could become. You are a pattern, a replication of divine design. And for the first time since your unmaking, you hesitate. It is only for a fraction of a second, but in that sliver of time, your opponent's blade finds its mark. Pain blooms through your chest, sharp and electric. You drop to one knee. The golden light within you flickers. The custodians above watch silently. They do not intervene. You rise, coughing blood that glitters in the light. Something inside you, something deeper than flesh, roars in defiance. The conditioning tells you to accept defeat, to die with grace. But that last fragment of your soul, the one that refused to die in the labs of the Magos, burns like fire. You lunge forward, faster than thought, your blade cutting a perfect arc. The strike connects. Your opponent falls. Silence returns. When it ends, you are the only one left standing. Around you, the fallen lie still, their golden forms lifeless, their purpose fulfilled. You drop your weapon. Your hands tremble. The floor beneath you is slick with the blood of perfection. A door opens. The custodian approaches, the same one who once brought you to the gates of the palace. His armor shines like a fragment of the sun itself. He looks down at you, not with pride, but with solemn understanding. The forge accepts your flame, he says quietly. But the blade must be tempered. He gestures for you to follow. You do, limping, bleeding, but alive. He leads you into a chamber where the light is almost unbearable. At its center stands an altar, carved from black stone, surrounded by columns of fire. The air hums with power so dense it feels alive. The custodian places his hand on your shoulder. Kneel. You obey. From the flames, a voice emerges, not the custodians, not the magi's, but something vaster, infinite. It does not speak in words, but in presence. You feel it vibrate through your mind, through your very essence. It is him, the Emperor. For one eternal heartbeat, you feel his awareness turn toward you, immense, ancient, all-consuming. It is not mercy. It is not love. It is the weight of 1,000 galaxies pressed into a single moment of recognition. Your mind fractures under its enormity. You see flashes of eternity, wars fought across stars, empires rising and dying, humanity screaming in the dark. And at the center of it all, his light, eternal, indifferent, absolute. Then, as quickly as it came, the light recedes. You collapse forward, trembling, gasping for breath you no longer need. The custodian's voice cuts through the silence. You have stood before his gaze and endured. From this day forth, you are no longer an initiate. You are a custodian of the golden throne, guardian of eternity, servant of the divine. You bow your head, and for a moment, you feel nothing. No joy, no sorrow, only purpose. The custodian raises his sword in salute. The fires die down, leaving behind a silence deeper than space. You have passed the trial. But in your heart, that last fragment of what you once were, a whisper remains. Was it worth it? You awaken to the hum of eternity. There is no pain now. No sound, except the faint, rhythmic pulse that seems to echo from somewhere far beneath the marble floor. You open your eyes, and the world greets you not with color, but with gold, endless, blinding gold. You are no longer a candidate. You are no longer a man. You are Custodian. The transformation is complete. The armor that once seemed impossible now fits as though it was born from your flesh. It moves when you move, it breathes when you breathe. You do not wear it, you are it. The oromite gleams with its own inner light, inscribed with words of obedience burned into the metal like scripture. Your first breath within this new form feels heavier, as if the air itself now bears meaning. You see more than you ever could before. You can feel the electromagnetic hum of energy fields around you, sense the motion of servitors in distant corridors, hear the faint whisper of prayers from pilgrims outside the palace walls. Every detail of existence is sharp, perfect, controlled, and yet, within that perfection lies silence. Not peace, not contentment, just silence, vast and golden, swallowing every thought that dares to rise. The custodian who once guided you stands before you now, helmeted, impassive. He offers no congratulations, no welcome. There is no brotherhood among the Emperor's guardians, only the unity of purpose. You have been reborn, he says. From this moment, you are the Emperor's will made manifest. His eyes, his blade, his word. You will watch when none else may watch. You will stand when all others fall. You bow your head in silent obedience. Then he leads you to the Eternity Gate. The gates tower above all imagination, each one carved from layers of sanctified gold and adamantium, engraved with the names of countless heroes who stood before you. Beyond them lies the Golden Throne, the holiest and most terrible place in existence. You will not see the Emperor. You will not speak to him. You will simply stand. That is your duty. That is your eternity. You take your position among the silent ranks. The air hums with power. Every custodian stands immobile, statues of divine intent. None move, none speak, yet each is alive, an ocean of vigilance hidden beneath the armor's stillness. Hours pass, or centuries. It no longer matters. Time has no meaning here. From where you stand, you can see the faint golden glow that radiates from the throne room's inner sanctum. The light shifts with slow, eternal rhythm, the heartbeat of a god who no longer breathes. At first, you feel awe. Then, slowly, you begin to feel something else, the weight of eternity pressing down on your mind. The silence is total, consuming. No laughter, no voice, no world beyond this hall of endless devotion. You begin to understand the truth. Immortality is not a gift. It is a prison. Each passing moment, you lose another fragment of memory. The sound of your name fades. The image of your face before the transformation blurs into nothing. Even your dreams dissolve, replaced by perfect vigilance. You stand. You endure. You serve. Pilgrims still come. You never look at them. They kneel at the foot of the palace, begging for a glimpse of divinity, never realizing that divinity does not answer. You are there, watching, silent, as countless generations live and die in ignorance. Once, during a rare moment between shifts, another custodian speaks to you, his voice a low, thunderous whisper that carries centuries of weight. Do you ever remember? He asks. You hesitate before answering. The question feels forbidden. Sometimes, you say, but less with each passing day. He nods. That is mercy. Then he returns to silence. And so do you. Years pass. Then centuries. Then millennia. The Imperium, outside decays, reforms, burns, and rebuilds. Empires rise and fall, yet within the palace, nothing changes. The golden halls remain untouched, eternal, the last fortress of mankind's faith. You begin to lose track of reality itself. You no longer dream, but sometimes, when the light shifts in a certain way, you think you see something, a figure, distant, radiant, reaching out to you through the blinding glow. You cannot tell if it's memory or hallucination. Sometimes you imagine the Emperor speaking, not with words, but with feeling, a pulse of thought, a sense of purpose. Guard them, endure, be eternal, and you obey. Always, you obey. But deep beneath that obedience, buried where no sanctified machine or psychic purge can reach, something small and stubborn remains, the last ember of the soul that once asked a question. That voice whispers now, faint but unbroken. If he is eternal, does he still see us? Does he even know we remain? You will never know the answer. None of you will. You are the Emperor's silent angels, golden, flawless, forgotten. Your glory is eternal. Your solitude, infinite. And in that silence, you finally understand the final truth. To protect a god is to become invisible to him. The light flares one last time, illuminating the golden hall in endless brilliance. You stand, unblinking, eternal. And somewhere in the vast silence of the throne room, a single thought passes through your hollowed mind, fleeting, human, and gone before it can take form. Then there is nothing but the hum of eternity once more. The palace of the Emperor stands unmoved, an island of gold amidst a sea of decay. Beyond its shining walls, the galaxy burns, 1,000 worlds at war, 1,000,000,000 cries swallowed by the void. Civilizations rise and crumble like dust in the wind. Yet within the palace, time has frozen into something sacred and cruel. You remain, a custodian of the golden throne. Once human, now more myth than man. You have become part of the architecture, a living ornament of divine vigilance. The flickering torches of 10,000 years reflect upon your armor, each glimmer a reminder of the lives you'll never live again. The air hums with eternity. Every second stretches into infinity. Your thoughts, once sharp and restless, have dulled into something heavier, quieter. You are no longer burdened by desire, nor haunted by fear. You simply are. And yet, sometimes, in the endless silence, something stirs. It begins as a whisper, a thread of thought breaking through the static of obedience. A question, the same one that haunted you long ago, back when you still remembered the warmth of sunlight on skin. Does he still see us? You look toward the glow that radiates from the throne, that endless pulse of golden energy. You can almost feel it breathing. The Emperor's light, his power, his suffering. You wonder if he can still hear you. You wonder if he ever did. Your eyes, enhanced beyond mortal comprehension, can see the faint movement of the golden throne's mechanisms, the pulsing conduits, the psychic wards, the endless machinery that devours 1,000 souls a day to keep him alive. It is beautiful, in a monstrous way. A god held together by the sacrifice of trillions. And you, the eternal sentinel, guard that horror with pride. There are moments when the silence breaks, moments when the Astronomicon, the Emperor's psychic beacon, flickers across the warp. The golden light bursts forth, rippling through space, guiding ships through madness. When that happens, you feel it in your very bones, a resonance that shakes your soul. For a brief instant, you think you can hear something within it, a faint heartbeat, a whisper of will. But when the light fades, only the silence remains. Decades pass. Then, centuries. Then ages beyond human count. You see faces of new custodians rise beside you, freshly forged from flesh and faith, and you see others fall into eternal slumber, their golden forms entombed in the crypts below. You never mourn them. You cannot. Emotion has long since eroded from your mind, worn away by duty and time. Still, a fragment of memory sometimes returns, a face, a name, a distant echo of laughter. You try to remember whose it was. A brother, a mother, a life before the gold. But the memory slips away like water through your fingers. You are not meant to remember. You are meant to stand. And so you stand. From your post in the Hall of Watchers, you look out upon the Imperium's fading light. You have seen the galaxy fracture into civil wars, witnessed the rise of traitors, heretics, and false prophets. You have watched Primarchs fall and return. You have seen worlds die screaming under alien suns. And yet, humanity endures, stubborn, wretched, unbroken. Perhaps that is the Emperor's will. Perhaps that is yours. One day, though you no longer know what day means, a faint tremor runs through the palace. The golden glow flickers for the briefest instant. A wave of psychic energy rushes outward, rippling through every custodian's mind like a breath from the throne itself. And in that instant, you hear him. Not a word, not a voice, just a feeling. A faint warmth. A memory of purpose, reignited after millennia of silence. You drop to one knee, bowing your head in reverence. Around you, 1,000 custodians do the same. The hall hums with unspoken awe. The Emperor lives, still watching, still suffering, still holding the universe together by the sheer force of his will. You feel tears, real tears, burning behind your eyes for the first time in an eternity. The spark of humanity you thought had long been extinguished flickers once more, fragile but alive. And in that moment, you finally understand. You were never meant to be remembered. You were never meant to be seen. You were meant to endure, so that mankind could keep dreaming. The light of the throne flares once more, washing over you in waves of gold. The hum of eternity deepens, and everything, time, thought, purpose, folds into silence. Your final thought, before the universe fades to gold, is not a question nor a prayer. It is a simple truth, carved into your being since the day you were chosen. I am the Emperor's shield. I am his silence. I am eternal. The video fades to black. The golden light recedes. The words, "Until next time," still hang in the air like smoke, but the sound doesn't end there. There is something, a faint, rhythmic pulse. A heartbeat, deep within the catacombs beneath the golden throne, where light itself dares not reach, a single custodian lies dormant, not dead, not alive. His armor is cracked, his sigils dimmed, yet his heart still beats faintly within the golden tomb. He is ancient beyond measure, one of the first who ever stood guard over the Emperor himself. His name, lost to time, once meant faith. His eyes flicker open in the dark, and for a brief, impossible instant, he remembers. He remembers the sound of rain. He remembers laughter. He remembers his mother's voice calling his name, a name he no longer knows. The silence presses in again, but he doesn't let it take him. Not yet. His lips move. The sound that emerges is a whisper, brittle, rasping, almost inaudible beneath the eternal hum of the throne. My Emperor, are you still there? There is no answer. Only the deep, mechanical thrum of the golden throne, the sound of godhood restrained by machines. He waits. And then, so faint that it could be imagination, the hum shifts. For a moment, the light seems to tremble. A wave of psychic warmth ripples through the chamber. A voice speaks, not in sound, but in thought. Old as the stars, tired as death, I am always here. The custodian's eyes close again. His last breath escapes like a sigh. The armor's golden light fades, leaving only silence behind. But above, in the great halls of the palace, the torches burn a little brighter. The golden sigils across the walls glow faintly, as if something within the throne has stirred. And across the galaxy, amid the chaos and despair of a dying Imperium, countless humans look up at the stars and feel something they cannot name, a flicker of hope. Perhaps it is nothing, or perhaps it is the Emperor, dreaming again. In the darkness, a whisper drifts through the void, soft, timeless, infinite. Stand, endure, the light is not yet gone. Then silence returns, golden, endless, eternal. Millennia pass, empires rise and crumble to dust. Stars fade, their light dying into the endless black. The galaxy, once vibrant, once loud with war and faith and screaming life, falls silent. And yet, the imperial palace still stands. Buried under ash and ruin, entombed in the bones of a world that forgot how to live, the palace endures, a monument not to power, but to memory. Its golden towers are dark now, its halls empty. The pilgrims are gone, the voices are gone, the galaxy is gone, only the throne remains. And beside it, still stands one figure. Motionless, timeless, a single custodian. His armor is blackened and cracked from the weight of uncounted ages. The sigils of the Emperor are half buried beneath layers of dust and decay. Yet his eyes, beneath the golden helm, still burn faintly, with the last reflection of a dying star. He does not remember his name. He does not remember what year it is. He only remembers why. He stands because that is what he was made to do. He stands because the Emperor once breathed life into him, and that command still echoes through the void of his mind like a heartbeat that refuses to die. Stand, watch, endure. He looks up at the throne. The vast machine is silent now. Its light has dimmed to a soft, flickering pulse, like the ember of a candle that refuses to go out. The air is heavy with ancient dust and static. And then, for the first time in 10,000 millennia, something moves. The golden light, faint and trembling, brightens. The custodian takes one slow step forward. His voice cracks the silence of a dead world. "My Emperor." The light trembles again, brighter now. Stronger. The dust begins to lift from the floor as the air hums with power not felt since the dawn of the Imperium. "My Emperor." A sound answers, low, deep, and infinite. It is not a voice, nor a thought, but something older. A ripple through the very fabric of reality. The throne glows brighter still. And then, a whisper, gentle as breath. "You have stood long enough, my son." The custodian falls to his knees. The world around him quakes as cracks of golden light split the floor, crawling up the walls like veins of living fire. His armor begins to disintegrate, piece by piece, unraveling into motes of radiant dust. But he feels no fear. Only peace. The light of the throne erupts outward, washing over the ruins of the palace, spilling across Terra, and beyond, through the stars, through the void, through the ruins of a once great galaxy. And for one impossible instant, everything shines. Every lost soul, every forgotten world, every fragment of humanity still scattered among the stars feels the warmth of that light, the Emperor's last breath, and remembers what it meant to be human. Then the light fades. The palace is gone. The throne is gone. The galaxy is silent once more. But somewhere beyond the veil of time and death, two figures stand in endless light, the Emperor and his last guardian. No armor, no war, no duty, only peace. The custodian bows his head, his voice soft and reverent. Was it worth it? The Emperor's gaze is endless, both sorrowful and kind. Everything that endures is worth the pain it took to make it eternal. The custodian nods. He closes his eyes. And in that eternal silence, the same silence that once felt like a prison, there is finally rest. The light drifts outward, fading into the stars one last time, until all that remains is a single whisper carried on the cosmic wind. Stand. Endure. The light is not gone, it only sleeps. And thus ends the tale of the Adeptus Custodes, the golden guardians of a god who never died, and the men who became eternity itself.